How many more failures? How many more?
All day, nigga.
If you knew the amount of failures that you had to go through in order to achieve the level of success that you want, would you try and burn through them, or would you sit there because you're certain about the number of failures you need to go through? It's like when you know exactly what you need to do, so you end up procrastinating it. If you knew exactly what would happen in the moments that you are failing, would you avoid doing that because you know you can't handle it? Or would you just sit through the humiliation, and would you sit through the frustration of going through that and actually try and reach your goal?
All day, nigga.
This is exactly what I'm telling myself as I went to the Bay this past month, I went to Prax III this past month, and I got zero audio. I have no audio from any of the clips I recorded. But you know what? That just makes me one failure closer to the goals I'm trying to achieve. So you know what? Here's an edit of Prax III this past weekend.
I took a young sweet breath and I reached into my earth. Gave him what I had left. At that moment I dispersed. At that moment I dispersed. Chill up, chill up, chill up.
All day, nigga.
Sounds like. So I put it into this software called Adobe Podcast, and it has this feature called Enhanced Speech. So here's what the audio sounds like after that.
How you direct shaky clients? How do you like clients that come you more than 2 to 3 times, and you've done what they asked, and they're still king you on the haircut?
And I'm pretty sure the rest of the audio was worse than that. I'm not gonna make you guys listen to the rest of that. But to sum up the interview, I basically asked what was the most embarrassing moment that you guys had when you guys first opened up Paradox. And every answer that he gave, he recently did a price raise from I think 65 to 100. And every answer that he gave revolved around how to use moments where you consider it a failure. How do you turn that into a lesson? Quote unquote failures, how do you make moments like that? How do you not let it define you? I think that's a key thing to understand, is that when we internalize moments as humiliating or internalize failure, it's important to remember that if we allow those moments to define us, then that creates the dead end in the road. Now, nobody knows what the future holds. I think especially in times like this, I think certainty is probably the last thing that we need. Like, that no longer allows you to grow in a capacity that's good for you, neither good for the people around you. If you hold on to moments like that and kind of allow them to set the parameters for what the future may hold. And this is a prime example. I don't have audio from this interview, but I'm still gonna try my best to put myself in front of a camera and convey the message that was trying to be spread, right? And so yeah, that was my interview with Ben in the Bay.
Sneeko, where can artistic people apply to work with you? Bro, clip and just stop talking. You're like doing too much. See, this is some advice. I'll give 2 pieces of advice right now. 1, if you want to work for somebody, just show that you can work for somebody, and then they'll reach out to you. 2, if you're grinding and you're working up to the top. Okay, I just did a pod with Tyson Hockley. I don't know if you guys saw it. I promised him when he hit 40,000 followers that I would do his podcast. So he flew out here, got a hotel, and he didn't have any equipment, so he used my equipment. I set it up for him. I got the camera, the mic, all the stuff. We uploaded the files. He didn't even know how to edit. He didn't know anything about it. Had all that set up for him, and he flew back. Then this actually pissed me off. They didn't piss me off, but it was annoying. And I'm saying this because he's young, he's new, and he doesn't understand completely. I woke up this morning late, and he is asking me to retweet the podcast and asking me to connect him to more people. At that point, accept the favor.
So this clip of Sneeko popped up on my feed literally the night that I visited Paradox. And it struck me because an exact moment played back in my head. And it's what Sneeko has to say about this whole networking mindset. And yes, if you, quote unquote, literally just flew to your favorite person or a person you look up to or idolize, if you literally go into the vicinity of the place that they work, the place, if you start to hang out with them, there's something that has to be said about learning to just accept the favor. If you are hanging around somebody that has the level of success that you want, the truth is that isn't gonna give you the level of success that you want. If that makes sense. So yes, you can hang around successful people all you want, but at the end of the day, it doesn't bring anything to you. Yes, if you do it correctly, you may be able to build hype. If you do it correctly, you may be able to get your name in certain circles, but when it comes down to just where do you go to work? Where do you make your money? And so what happened was before I left, I wanted to ask another guy, Paradox, if there were, I wanted to ask him a couple of questions. And at that point, I'd already interviewed Ben. I'd already been hanging around the school. And, at this point, they're probably thinking to themselves, what the fuck is he doing around here? And if I was just there to kick it, I was just there to kick it. But I wasn't there to just kick it. I was there to get something. I was there to get something out of that interaction. But when it hits that point, it's important to look yourself in the mirror and be like, am I providing value anymore? Or am I just kind of leeching right now? And that's the last thing you want to be. You don't want to be a leech, right? And so I think that was also an important lesson to take out of that trip, because no, I didn't get any audio, but maybe it's good that I didn't get any audio, because if I posted it, I mean, what is it really doing for anybody? So, okay, when I first started cutting, I was still in the garage, right? My friend found me this barber chair for like 65 bucks on OfferUp. It was in Oceanside, maybe 30 minutes north of where we were. Drive 30 minutes up, we take my dad's car. Guy that's selling it, he's an interesting personality, right? He's very forward, very direct, super fast-paced guy. It's like, those people that they ask you a question, but before you can even answer, they're on to the next question, or they're saying something else. His situation was, he just bought the shop. He's trying to renovate it, which is why he's selling the old chairs. And then he sold me a mirror with it. He sold me a mirror and I paid like $130 maybe. On my way out, he was like, oh, yo, you know what? I bought this place and, oh, do not tip over. Oh shit. I was like, yo, I actually just opened up this, I'm actually just renovating this shop. I'm actually looking for people to fill these chairs. If you want a spot, I got you, bro. Me at the time, I was stoked. I was like, oh shit, yo, honestly, I cut out of the garage and yeah, I'd be down. 30 minutes isn't too bad of a drive, right? And there was good walk-in traffic from what I could tell. So I started working for him for maybe just a couple of months, and I haven't seen too many changes. If you actually look at my old videos, you can see that he did actually renovate the shop. He did do a reconstruction. It just took maybe a month or so
to get the no. Why are they doing this? Why are we doing this? Why are we fucking moving our car backwards on the highway? This guy, he calls me and asks for like 3K, right? Or he asks for any amount of cash that I can front. And, you know, being what? I was like 20 at the time. I was like, oh shit, maybe this is a good business opportunity. He was pitching to me that if I front this payment of, so basically what was happening was he needed a second truck to get all of, you know, the shit out of the shop, right? Because he's renovating it. He didn't have the money in his checkings account, like all of it, to basically do the whole load. And it would cost more if he called the second truck on a second day because he would need to transfer money from, I don't know, some other account. And we're gonna come back to this construction company. Lo and behold, I had 3K cash on me just from serving at Gen, right? This was cash that I just stowed away. This money was intended for my tuition, but I took a risk. I took a gamble and I ended up fronting for this guy. He was saying, oh, like, yo, like, you know, I'll pay you back in interest. And I was basically just going off the whole interaction. I was going purely off of trust. I trusted this guy. I trusted that he would pay me back. If you're gonna learn anything from this story, it is make sure you do digital payment if someone's gonna borrow money from you. Some time goes by and you guys might be thinking I'm stupid at this point, but get this. I knew that the guy across the road that owned the L&L, he runs a construction company that ended up doing the renovation that I was talking about. I'm thinking to myself, if I'm not seeing any money, is this guy seeing any money? So I'll walk across the road and then I ask, his name is Will, by the way, is Will here by any chance? And he was. I was like, hey, Will, like, could we talk for a second? And he sat down and I was like, hey, Will, do you know what happened to this guy? And then he starts telling me, yo, I haven't seen this guy. You know, he put a down payment and then dipped. You know, he hasn't and he's making all these excuses. He's gonna say that he's gonna pay in crypto, he's gonna pay in XYZ, whatever payment. But all that we know is that the money isn't coming from this guy. And he had his suspicions that he borrowed from me or in order to pay him and is asking other people. And so eventually I was like, okay, so I'm not the only guy that's getting screwed over. I go and contact the guy that he bought the barbershop from. His name is Ron. I get in contact with Ron. Mind you, Ron isn't an easy guy to contact. I was like, Ron, like, what's up with this guy? Like, where is he? Why is Will not getting any payments? Why am I? And I know for damn sure if we're not getting any payments, are you getting any payments? And he says no too. This guy's probably over 50K in debt just trying to get this barbershop renovated the way that he wanted to. He slowly stops showing up to the shop. I'm starting to come to terms and coming to accept that, I mean, I got scammed, right? Like, maybe months later, weeks later, I get a phone call from Ron and I get confirmation. He calls me, he has this sort of dreary tone to his voice. Hey, you know, I understand that you were also part of this scandal where this guy basically screwed all of us over. He started giving a list. He started giving a list of names or like people that were also, you know, basically their money was taken as well. Some of them were his clients. He scammed those people. He scammed friends. He scammed 3 of us. And so at this point, what can we do? They're gonna go after him, but he has no money to his name. He's in debt. So we can't even get anything out of him, right? And so even if we sued him, he doesn't have any money to pay us. So then, like, so we had something, it was taken from us, and he doesn't have anything to show for it because it was invested or put into the wrong things, and it's basically gone. Like, as far as compensation goes, there's not much else that could have been done for us. That was basically the whole thing. Like, I ran into a con artist. In the beginning of my barber career, I ran into a con artist. And it was frustrating, and it was a total setback. It put me in a lot of financial trouble because that $3K was also saved up for college. But I got reps out of it. It was a chop shop. I got a lot of fade reps in. I knew how to do a haircut quick. And that's essentially what I got out of it. I never saw my money again. I probably made it back in the time that I worked there, but it was a huge setback. $3K cash. I probably haven't been able to save up that amount of cash again in my lifetime. And so where I'm at now, I'm a little bit more stable, but it really put me through a lot of confusion, and I got scammed. It sucked. It really sucked, but I think at the end of the day, it helped me build, this is what they all say. It helped me become the person that I am today. There's not much else that I can really say about that. I still am kind of resentful that this guy took my money, but it happened. So at the end of the day, I still cut. This is the L&L that Will owned. He honestly runs a pretty solid business. You can see there's businesses and a promotion right here. Yeah, I used to get this L&L a lot. So yeah, this is kind of a full circle moment for me, coming back to the shop that I got scammed, coming back to the shop where I got scammed out of $3,000. I met a con artist and he took my money and I never saw it again. That's pretty much the basis of it. But yeah, this is the shop where I got scammed at. I was naive. I was like 20 years old. And I saw an opportunity to earn some extra cash, and I took a risk, and it wasn't a well thought out risk to take. I took a gamble and I lost on that gamble, but ultimately I learned from it, and it wasn't a failure that defined me by any means. I still cut hair today, but I think it's a testimony to that if you really want to do something, it doesn't matter how much money you've put into it, it doesn't matter how much you've lost doing it. If this is really what you want to do, no setback will ultimately make you quit.
Driving with my son.
Wanna be a part of it, wanna sing along. The feeling when the windscreen wipers on up with a song.